We're going into 2020 with a big bang, and I'm going to go ahead and show you 5 relatively untapped and profitable self-publishing romance niches. That's in today's episode 37 of the Self-Publishing with Dale podcast. Stay tuned. Want to give a big thank you to our sponsors, Romance Publishing Academy. Romance Publishing Academy is a comprehensive start-to-finish program on romance publishing. Whether you're beginner or even intermediate, the Romance Publishing Academy will develop your author brand and bring you results that will make you sell more books. This is not just another video course here, folks. They work with you one-on-one on a personalized basis to best ensure positive results. Their guarantee is they'll privately coach you until you recoup your investment in the program as a minimum monetary outcome. Book a no-pressure call and talk with them today. You're completely free to just chat with them and see what tips they can give you to develop your overall publishing strategy. Whether you choose to work with Romance Publishing Academy or not, booking a call will help propel your publishing business forward. For the best first step in this process, you got to download a free copy of their Romance Publishing Playbook. That's at dalelinks.com/romance. Again, that's dalelinks.com/romance. The fine folks at Romance Publishing Academy, just 2 fantastic people. I got to spend about 3 days with them last year in Los Angeles and got to learn a lot about both of them. So I'm really excited about what Romance Publishing Academy's table. So why romance, Dale? Why are we all of a sudden talking about romance, and why am I talking in the third person? Well, I'm not going to answer the last question, but let's answer the first question. That is, romance is nuclear hot. It has a voracious crowd that always wants to read content. And inevitably, if you look in top 100, you're going to see it's dominated by fiction. And a large portion of that is going to be something to do with romance in particular. So this is why I want you to kind of probably sit down, take some notes in today's podcast, because you're going to learn quite a few things that maybe you didn't know about, or maybe you need to rehash. Either way, we're going to kind of explore 5 just untapped. It's insane. Actually, me looking at these, I'm like, oh man, maybe I should get on top of them. Sadly, I'm not going to be getting back into romance publishing right now because it's not my thing, but I want to give it to you though. And how did I find these niches? Well, there's 2 ways you can first of all find a romance publishing niche. And I recommend you do the research before you do the writing. Okay, the old school way is go in to the Amazon Kindle store or the bookstore, and you're just going to do some searches. You're going to find whatever niche it is, find a bestseller, go into the Amazon bestsellers list and see what the ranks are. Now, generally speaking, in the ABSR, Amazon bestseller rank, if you hear me say ABSR from this point on, just understand it is. I'm looking and say the top 10 books in a given category, and I want to see that there's at least a proof of concept, right? I want to make sure that the books are at least 100,000 in the ABSR. ABSR, again, this is going to vary from one person to the next in their risk evaluation and how long they've been in the business. But if you're brand new to things, 100K is not too bad. However, I like digging a little bit more. I like to give myself a challenge, and I like to see something a little bit closer to, say, 75,000 or less, but nothing like the top 100. Because if you see something like in the top 100, that's going to be a fist fight. That is dozens upon dozens of downloads in a given day or purchases in a day. So I'm going to kind of load you up with 5 killer niches and how I found these ones before you're like, Dale's just guessing. No, actually I used Publish Rocket, and I've actually got a link to that inside the description down below if you want to look into Publish Rocket. But I saved you the trouble. Honestly, I just went ahead and looked these 5 things up. And it wasn't so important that I found the very best romance publishing niches. Again, I didn't want to go into a fist fight, and just get my, tail kicked. I wanted to go into a challenge of some sort that would at least get me started on the right path. So Publish Rocket was able to kind of scrape a lot of these things together. I narrowed it down to the things that I kind of like to see and I'm willing to take a gamble on. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to start out with number 1, and I'm kind of putting them in order of importance as far as ease of getting into the niche, because I did a little bit of further digging and say the top 20, and I just saw, okay, so we're going to start out with the easiest one being romance graphic novels. Oh, graphic novels? Romance? Are you kidding me? Yeah, this was actually news to me. Believe it or not, the number one book, this is an ebook one, by the way, was at 8,000. 8,000, you're looking at about a couple dozen to 3 dozen, purchases a given day. And the number 10 spot had 67,000. That's roughly about 3 purchases a day. So this is really doable. I mean, really doable. If you're brand new to things, obviously romance graphic novels, it's like a comic book, but it's a comic book in book form. So it's not just some short comic book. It's packed full. It's usually got a reinforced cover of some sort. Could be even hardback. So though it looks fairly easy to get into, just know this, that it's not going to be as simple as you writing the content and calling it a day. You're actually going to need to get the artwork done for it in order to actually place in it. All right, number 2, 15-minute romance short reads. Oh, short reads. Short reads comes and rears its ugly head. Oddly enough, short reads are essentially what you would think. They're very short reads. Something that someone can read in 15 minutes in this particular category is roughly about 1 to 11 pages. So this is going to be a short story of some sort. This one blew me away, and it actually it was another one of the ones I was like, I'm tempted. I looked at it, I'm like, oh, maybe I should go after that. I won't, but here's the thing. Number 1 actually has 4,000 ABSR. Number 10 has 34,000 ABSR. This is a little bit more of a challenge, but I looked into the top 20, and it started to really go downhill between number 11 and number 20 inside the bestseller list for 15-minute short reads. So there is a proof of concept in here, but it's not going to be as easy to place in as, say, the romance graphic novels. Number 3, teen and young adult clean and wholesome romance. Say that 10 times fast. Teen and young adults, clean and wholesome romance. All right, so if you're writing smut, then chances are likely this is not the category for you. Do not try to work the system and try to place yourself in here, even though it's relatively easy to get into it. This is going to be for those of you that are writing clean and wholesome romance, especially for the young adult audience. Number 1 had 5,000 BSR. And the number 10 had 50,000 BSR. Again, this gets me so excited for those of you that are going to be getting into the romance publishing niche, because this right here, I mean, you got to think about it. Clean and wholesome romance. You're talking about a freaking Hallmark book, at this point. You could just go ahead and sit down and put something that's nice and snuggly and cuddly and, none of the kissing and probably hand holding is about as risque as it gets. But that is number 3. Number 4, here we go. LGBT romance for teens and young adults. Ebooks, by the way. This one's ebooks. So this one right here, this is a little bit easier to get into. There's a good reason why I probably didn't put it towards the top of the list, but unfortunately it just eludes my mind right now. It might have been that it was fairly steady when it got up to the number 20 spot. But the number 1 spot actually was 12,000 in ABSR, and the number 10 spot had 50,000 in ABSR. So this one's completely doable. Again, LGBT romance for teens and young adults. Hey, I just want to do a really quick plug before I give you this niche. And you can sink your teeth into this one. And actually, you're going to be pretty surprised by this next one, especially given the ones I've already given. But I just want to say real fast that you can join me every Saturday on YouTube at dalelinks.com/live at p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I actually have a live broadcast every week, every Saturday. And boy, I started out the year with a bang. It was amazing to see everybody show up for the live broadcast and just gobble it up. I actually talked a little bit more about some nuclear hot niches, actually even bigger than some of the ones I've just mentioned to you. You may want to go back and watch that one. It was a lot of fun. And then, of course, you can also take a look at the Twitch broadcasts. Believe it or not, when you're listening to me here on this podcast, I'm recording it live in front of a studio audience. Now, actually, Kelly kind of counts as a studio audience. You can do that at twitch.tv/self-publish every Monday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can get a week jump on every one of the podcasts. Alrighty, so let's get that final niche. Why don't final niche is 30-minute romance short reads. Now, you're probably going, I thought it was going to be shocking me. Well, it's kind of surprising. I brought up 30-minute with the 15-minute one I already mentioned. Now, this one, I think the pages are like 12 to like 24 pages or something like that. You have to double check that. I apologize. I didn't put it in my notes. But the number one spot had 4,000 ABSR and had 30,000. This was a little bit tougher to break into. Between all the other ones, I think that this one would be the most difficult, but it's not impossible. And as I look down into the, number 11 to number 20, it got easier yet. So really, some of you out there that are writing these long romance novels and are unproven authors, might I recommend look into something like a 15-minute short read or a 30-minute short read. It might be a bit of a challenge. I know a good friend of mine, Thomas A. Bradley, he actually writes horror novels. And I challenged him to do short stories. He's like, oh man, that's so hard, dude. You don't understand. And I come to find out he actually had a collection of short stories somewhere that he was able to do that. But if it's a challenge for you, I implore you, instead of spending months upon months to write a novel and put it out there without it being proven, you may want to consider doing some short reads. But you know what? I don't want to be the guy that's telling you what you should or should not do. It's just some recommendations. And even furthermore, you may want to, of course, download the Romance Publishing Playbook when you visit dalelinks.com/romance. Hey, do me a favor. Subscribe or follow me on your preferred podcast platform and leave a review. I forgot to pull up some reviews here. I actually do have some great reviews that are rolling out. I appreciate it. Wherever you're listening to this from, means the world to me that you took a little bit of time out your day just to listen. So with all that being said, what did you think about those 5 niches in romance publishing? Are you currently publishing in it? Definitely would love to hear from you. In the meantime, in between time, this has been Self-Publishing with Dale. I'll talk to you next week.